Hey bookworms, book nerds, and book dragons, welcome back to my channel. I'm Naomi, and here is what I want to read before the end of the year, because apparently we're doing that. And I am hopping on that train because honestly, figuring out the top books I want to finish before the year is out is probably going to be way better than like me normally mood reading, because let's be honest, I try to do a TBR for per month and that just doesn't work because I use my library a lot, which you should, and that makes it hard because I have books that come in either late or early and I either have to like, okay, if I'm reading an audiobook that I own, or reading an audiobook, listening to an audiobook that I own, then I'm going to stop and read the physical book or listen to the audiobook that's through my library app or something like that. I have that happening right now. I have like 6 books that are all about to be here right now, and there's no way I'm going to actually be able to get to all of them. So seasonal TBRs are probably going to be the best for me. I'm going to say this is going to be my end of year, so it's going to be from, we'll say right now, September to December. This is what I want to read before the end of the year, and it's probably going to work way better doing like 3 or 4 months for me, because there's, like I said, there's very little way I can actually get to any of the books I want to read in one sitting. Let's get going. All right, let's start off strong by realizing I'm a disappointment to my mother for not reading Dune by Frank Herbert. Like seriously, my mother, I was talking to her the other day and she is absolutely appalled that I have not picked it up, and I love fantasy and I enjoy sci-fi. My mother is appalled that I have not actually read this, and she's like, Naomi, I've had it in the house for years. I had all the other 15, 10, whatever, how many books he's ever written for that series in the house. You have had access to them. So I get to now purchase a book because I'm a disappointment to my mother. I'm only like slightly kidding, because she really wants me and her to go watch part 2 of the Dune movie. And she's like, you can't go watch it until you've read the first book. You've read the book and you've watched the first movie. I know what I'm doing this fall. It's finishing Dune. So that might be the only thing I finish, if we're being honest. Might be the only thing. Hopefully not. Hopefully I get to like other enjoy. And another one that I also am probably a disappointment to my mother for not reading is The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. So Eye of the World, Wheel of Time series on Amazon Prime is based off of it. I've actually watched the first season and I really enjoyed it. So I'm like, also I don't know where everything's coming from. So I was able to like, you know, just enjoy it for the sake of enjoying it, which is, you know, what things are made to do. Another book I get to read. I'm actually excited. These have been on my TBRs. I've just been pushing them off for newer releases because, one, they thick. They are super thick boys. And I technically have bought Dune before as a paperback, but it was one of those smaller paperbacks, and so the print was like so tiny it hurt my eyes, and I already have not great eyes, and I was like, if I keep reading this is going to make me go blind. So I will have to pick up another copy that's hopefully just a little bit bigger, hopefully, because it seems, maybe I'll read that online. Maybe that might be a series I just buy from Kindle or something. I'd say use my library, but with how big it is, I'd have to like borrow it 10 different times to finally get through it. Like either one, like either through Dune or Eye of the World. Anyways, moving on. Next one I really want to read is Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldree. This is a prequel to Legends and Lattes, and I loved Legends and Lattes so much. It was one of the coziest books I've read last year or the year before. Like whenever I read it the year it came out. I can't remember what year it came out. Sorry, brain. But it hit all those points. I will be purchasing this book, hopefully as a physical copy, because it was so cute. So ready for it. The next book I'm going to be reading is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Book 2 comes out in November of this year. If I remember correctly, this came out earlier this year in May. At least that's what my first edition, this copyright says, because it came out in May 2023. Yeah, like this came out recently already, and book 2s are ready to go. So I've already pre-ordered book 2, so I have high hopes that I actually like this book. We'll see. I don't have a pretty copy. I mean, it's not awful. It's just a solid black, which I mean, I can appreciate. I have a friend who's reading this, and she's like almost halfway done with it by now. And she started it a few days ago, maybe like less than a week ago. She started it, and she's like, I don't know what I should do. Is either just blow through it or make it last, because she's hit that point. So she's really enjoyed it. Her and I have had similar taste. So I'm pretty hopeful that I will enjoy this one as well, because I also really like dragons. Another book I plan on reading, especially this fall, is going to be Hang the Moon by Jeanette Walls. This one is supposed to be set in the 1920s? Prohibition era. I can't remember what year that's supposed to be in. 30s? Roaring 20s, no. This is set in Prohibition era, so our main character is a girl who starts running liquor for her family, and then she gets in trouble because she almost, her stepbrother has an incident, almost has like a bad enough incident. Stepmom gets really mad. Dad, to appease stepmom, kicks her out, and so we're going on this adventure with her now. This is one I plan on reading this fall. Next on the list is Light Lark by Alex Astor. This is a YA that's supposed to be a mix between like Game of Thrones, Hunger Games, and like just, it's supposed to be like a magical Hunger Games is what it's been kind of sold to me. I've seen the author on TikTok. She seems really cool. She seems really solid. I quite enjoy that. And from recently rereading Hunger Games and also Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes this year, this should be really good. Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, the movie, is supposed to come out this fall, and I am gonna go watch it with my mom. My mom kind of developed my love for reading, if you can't tell. My mom and dad. Because my dad is also disappointed that I haven't read Dune. Next is gonna be God Killer by Hannah Canner. So Elliot Brooks, who is on YouTube, she loves this book. She has been ranting and raving about it, and I love the cover. I think the cover is so beautiful. So this is something I'm kind of reading because, or I want to read because it does sound good. I can't tell you what the premise is about it, but I know it's a pretty cover and somebody I trust also likes it. So I'm pretty darn hopeful that this will hit all those good spots. The Sun in the Void by Gabriela Romero Lacruz. This is again something I'm really interested in because it sounds like, so it has some magical elements to it. It also has like those conquistador issues, and I'm really excited to see how this author takes the cultures that she's been inspired by in the mythologies and how she's kind of intertwining them together. I will probably grab this from the library and listen to it as an audiobook because it's supposed to be a really good narration. I'll be reading Silver Nitrate by Silvia Moreno Garcia. Silvia Moreno Garcia is one of my favorite authors. I read Mexican Gothic whenever it came out, and it kind of developed my whole love of her books. I think I've read most of them. I think there's a couple that I'm lacking, this one and the one before that she recently published, and I've loved. One of my favorite books by Silvia Moreno Garcia is Gods of Jade and Shadow. I always want to put Shadow before Jade, but it's Jade and Shadow. This one is one of my favorite books of hers. That's definitely one I recommend you guys reading. I'm excited to see what Silver Nitrate has to offer, because whenever she wrote Velvet is the Night, that was really different for what I've read up until then with what she's produced. So she does have a lot of fantastical elements in it, a lot of mythology. She does quite a bit of stuff with magic or things you're like, okay, is this actually happening, or is this like an untrustworthy narrator, or is this like the narrator going a little crazy? You start thinking about that. So Velvet Was the Night was a really good book. I quite enjoyed it. It was interesting. I'm very excited for Silver Nitrate. because I just really like the way she writes. She's one of my favorite authors. Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo is book 2 in the Ninth House in their Alex Stern series, and I'm really excited for it because I really enjoyed Ninth House. We were introduced to Alex and the secret societies in Ninth House, and now I have an idea about where Hellbent is going, and I will probably pick it up as a physical book, like both of them, because I have room and they are really good. So I really recommend those. And also, they're both academia books, so they're perfect for that fall and winter time, like spooky vibes. Vampires of El Norte by Isabella Canas. So I'm gonna be honest, I'm just really intrigued by the title because it kind of gets to the point. It's like there's just gonna be this town. It's either set in Mexico, Texas. It's got Hispanic vibes. I love that so much. I love reading those stories. They make me so happy. They are usually well written, and they also, especially like whenever you start going into more of the how do I say this, supernatural. There's a lot of superstitions in the Hispanic community, and I have been honored to learn about them through just having friends who are Hispanic and being around them and like listening to all the things that they do or have done, and they're like, yes, we do this, and I'm like, that's amazing. I love that so much. So the whole culture is just really fascinating to me, and it just makes me happy. I love seeing these authors, and I want to support them because they have written really good books. And last but not least, it is Tryst by the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. I'll let you guys know on a secret, and I will be doing a video about this soon, I've only read one of Brandon Sanderson's books, but he's supposed to be a really good author, and I really enjoyed the other book that I read, and I read Mistborn, so I'm really excited for this, especially because it's supposed to be inspired by The Princess Bride, and I loved The Princess Bride so much as a kid. We watched it all the time, so I'm really excited to kind of see how that goes. Let me know down below what you are looking forward to. If anything that I've mentioned seems overrated, or you're also interested in reading it, let me know in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.